Hi guys, Krystle here with Spiritually Sexy. Today I want to talk about the Orphan, which is the second of the 12 archetypes. So you see the Orphan. Hold on, child interrupting.
Hi. I give her the water.
Go sit down. Thank you.
Yeah. Here, I'll put it right behind here.
I'm on Facebook. Thank you. He's giving me some water. So anyway, okay. Now I gotta think about where I was because I got interrupted. The Orphan. Okay. So with the Orphan, it's the second of the 12 archetypes. It's what the innocent becomes after the fall. The Orphan is like the wounded one inside all of us. And basically, like, you see it in every single movie, every single story, right? It's like every Disney movie, orphans. None of them have moms. Like, all of their moms are dead. They're all orphaned, literally. And then, like, there's Batman. Batman's orphaned. His parents are murdered by a robber in the street. But there's also, like, a figurative orphaning, like when Adam and Eve are cast out of Eden, right? So they are all in their innocent stage and they're happy-go-lucky and everything, and then, they have the fall from Eden where they're kicked out and they're orphaned. They don't have that safety and security anymore to rely on. They've been shown that the world is a cruel place that, wounds them, and things become hard for them and they have to overcome things. And it's the same thing with, like, Batman. He's going on just a normal kid, and his parents get murdered and robbed and murdered, and then his whole life changes, right? It's this wound that changes everything for a person, where they go from the happy innocent to the wounded orphan, and they, discover that the world isn't always a happy place. And so this kind of triggers a growth pattern for everyone. We all go through these patterns in our lives, and it's common in every story. And basically, like, the orphan is, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. It's part of growth that has to happen. We can't grow until we've learned to suffer, until we've had suffering in our lives. Otherwise, we just continue going on about our day and being happy and, in our usual routine. And then something has to trigger us to come out of that. Something has to like cause that pain, that triggering event to cause us to grow and overcome and learn. Orphan, when a person taps too deeply into their orphan, is when they start living in that victim mentality, where they think the whole world is out to get them and everything is everyone else's fault and everyone's just, gonna hurt them. You don't have that trust. You have lost that trust, and you're basically like, you are being self-destructive in that lack of trust. Like, you're seeing only the bad in everything. I'm always a victim. And it's really common, actually, for people to be stuck in that victim mode. And it's something that we all have to learn to overcome. We have to learn to recognize the orphan in ourselves and when it's taking over and making us feel like a victim. So then we can overcome that and move on to further development and further stages in our lives. The orphan in human development is really common in, like, preteens and teenage years. Although, there are some who experience it sooner. Maybe their family isn't that great. Maybe they have, abusive parents, or maybe they have, a family that isn't, is not the nicest to them all the time. So they experience it a little sooner. But most people experience being an orphan, tapping into their orphan archetype when they are a teenager. And so, they see, you see that in the way that teens react to everything, where they think that everyone's out to get them, and they're very emo, and it's very stereotypical of the teenage girl that's always screaming and stomping her feet and running away because everyone's so mean to her. That's a stereotype, and it's because that's the age where most people experience that archetype in their lives, where they're learning that growth in their lives. It's where we learn about rejection and betrayal, and we go from the orphan has two kind of sides to it. There's the exile that's isolating themselves, and they're they've been kind of rejected and booted out, and they're the loner because they've been exiled. And then there's the rebel who basically takes it to another level and wants to go against everyone else and prove everyone wrong, and they rebel. That's their nature, is to rebel and go against everything and everyone else. So that's a little bit about the orphan archetype. I've got some exercises that can help you tap into your orphan and kind of grow and learn more about that aspect of yourself. Because we all go through these cycles continuously, where we experience these archetypes. They're all a part of us, and as we age and grow older, we learn to tap into the different archetypes more and more. It's kind of like a spiral. We start out at the one point at the orphan, and it spirals around throughout our life, and we go through all the different archetypes, and there's multiple spirals inside the spiral. So we have all these little mini stories in our lives where we go through the pattern of the archetypes and we learn from them. But let me see which exercise would be good. Okay, so here's one where you're going to, sit back and kind of daydream about this. But you're going to imagine, a desire for someone to care for you. And you're going to imagine, that person taking care of you in some manner. And then you're going to imagine that they don't care for you, okay? And how that feels. And you're going to have to act on your own behalf, because that person that was supposed to care for you in your daydream didn't. So now you have to do what they were supposed to do for you, okay? And you kind of want to allow yourself to feel how it feels, the disappointment or the sadness or anger or, cynicism towards life, this person let me down, so everybody's going to let me down. Look for that in your own life. Imagine what that feels like, and kind of tap into it. And then you're going to progress the daydream further and imagine yourself being in a group of people that have that same problem, that feel the same way, they have that same orphaning, that same wound, right? And bonding with them and forming a new tribe and learning to rely on other people in a new way. And that's kind of how we learn to heal our orphan's wound and overcome and grow. You know, we learn to trust again in others, and you know, kind of like feel what it feels like to know that, yeah, I've been hurt, but I can, you know, look towards these other people that are my tribe, and I can rely on them, and they're my friends and my family, you know. And that's kind of what we do in our teenage years. You know, we learn to build our own tribes, and it's important to human growth and development. But I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk about the orphan a little bit, and, you know, go over that archetype with you. Tomorrow night I'm going to discuss the warrior, and the warrior is, you know, it's the typical hero in every movie. So we'll get to talk about that tomorrow. Okay? So thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye!